Thanks, everybody, and welcome back to the High Five Challenge. We have a great match going on right now. It's very tight. Right now, LaSalle's in the lead with 2,150 points. Mountain View has 2,100 points, only 50 points separating these two great teams. Now, as I explained before the break, we have a very special guest with us today. He is Dan McKown. He is from Tacoma. And everybody give a round of applause for Dan first, okay? Obviously, you notice that Dan is in a wheelchair. Dan, what happened here about 6 months ago to put you in this wheelchair?
Well, November 20th, a young man who had a bad day and claimed he had a bad life decided to shoot up the Tacoma Mall. I did my darndest to try to stop him, but due to a little bit of confusion when the shooting stopped, I put my gun away thinking everything had been taken care of, and when I could have had the drop on him, he had the drop on me, and I wasn't able to outdraw someone with a gun out. He shot me 5 times, once in the spine, a couple grazes in the arms, and I was, well, like, for all intents and purposes, at the moment, temporarily paralyzed. I don't like to think I'm done yet. I got one good leg, so I'm still kicking.
All right. Now, Dan likes to make people laugh because he is a comedian. Isn't that correct? Tell me a little bit about your comedian career.
Well, I'm very blessed with a comedy troupe called Comedy Kaleidoscope. We were under or unfinanced, but we've stayed together since 1989, and you know, various incarnations. But one of our guys, Ty Barnett, he's done a Tonight Show, had a Comedy Central special. Others like Paul Schmidt, they're just waiting in the wings for us to take off. But I mean, these guys have been great. I mean, when I got shot, 35 comedians held a benefit concert at Area 151 to raise money for, anything that might arise and, that wasn't covered by L&I. And it's just the outpouring. I mean, I watched God move through people who were not terribly godly to begin with. I mean, I was just amazed at just the turnaround in my friends. And the other nice thing was a lot of my friends had never been connected. I had a lot of different groups of friends. And so, first night in the hospital.
When you say back east, you connected, that's not the right kind of being. You don't want to be connected back east with the mafia, the organized crime. When you say you're connected, that's different. See, I'm trying to be a comedian.
Yeah, there you go. I'm saying, when did I say I was connected back east? Back east, the phrase. Humor, gotcha. Back east, the phrase means
tell me with your comedy act.
Connected a little bit. No.
Okay, I got you. Tell me a little bit about your comedy act then. Do you still go out and perform?
I haven't since I've been shot. I did one videotape concert for Jokes for Little Folks, Toys for Tots. There was a benefit we did around Christmas, and they videotaped me at the hospital, and then they ran it on a projection monitor. The stand-up comedians from our comedy troupe, because not everybody is a stand-up comedian. Some are comedic actors and some are sketch-com actors. The stand-up comedians, Ty Barnett, Sean Lawrence, myself, Chris Brannon, Lee Fleming, we're all going to do our own little comedy tour, Comedy Kaleidoscope comedy tour, which will be kind of like Blue Collar Comedy Tour or Kings of Comedy, except we'll be an integrated group, and we're actually going to do a 100% clean act, just to prove it can be done. Okay, Dan, would you like to be a guest celebrity co-host?
I'd be honored. All right. Well, let's find the next 5 categories.
We hit them?
They're up there. Oh, there they are. Okay, we will have great sports feats, American poets, our mystery category, the military, and trivia. Let's find the first one. All right, you're going to be reading the trivia category.
Is that a comment about my intellect?
Well, we'll see. I'm going to hand them to you.
Okay.
The first question is worth 10 points, and
hey, he can't see this, can he?
I don't know. We'll see. Apparently not. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, if you're a philatelist, it means you collect these.
Philatelist.
Philatelist. I'm just...
Okay.
Stamp collector?
Megan is correct for stamps. Okay.
You got it on my goofing.
Okay. Next category is worth 10 points.
You couldn't see these, could you?
No.
Okay. Let's make it. This comic character is always waiting for the great pumpkin to arrive on Halloween.
LaSalle. Linus.
Linus Van Pelt is correct for 10 points. Very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Our next question is worth 20 points.
Give us the last word in this quote. A fool and his money are soon...
Mountain View.
Felix.
Parted.
Parted is correct. Yes, very good. All right.
You didn't work in my accounting department, did you?
Okay. For 20 points.
In 1933, President Franklin Roosevelt started this great dam on the Columbia River.
LaSalle.
Okay, Tim.
Bonneville.
Bonneville is correct. Very good. And here we go with a 40-point question.
All right. This hero of the Trojan War spent 20 years trying to get home to his wife, Penelope.
Steal, Mountain View, over
Okay,
here.
we have a steal here by Ian.
Odysseus.
Odysseus is correct for 40 points. Very good. All right. What did you think of your co-hosting?
I don't know. I thought I did pretty mediocre. I hope you would.
I think you did pretty good. Do you have any positive? Do you have any positive words for these kids that you'd like to leave with them?
You know, there's been a few I was thinking about, honestly. When I was shot and I was on the floor for an hour and 20 minutes because they didn't know if it was a terrorist attack. They didn't know if, it was safe to go in. I mean, there could have been 6 gunmen. They didn't know. So it took a while for the paramedics to arrive. And, they say if you give up, you die. And I actually did. I gave up. I figured I was done. And I like to tell people that God's giving you a slow 10 count. I mean, you can give up all the way to 9, but as long as you get up at 9, you're still going. And
I also understand that in the Seattle area, a lot of people consider you a hero because if you hadn't had that guy stand down, he may have gone, and who knows what he would have done.
It's flattering, yes. They say since I confronted him with a gun, he changed his mind. He had 600 rounds of ammunition. But when you talk about heroes, I faced a guy with 600 rounds of ammunition. You faced a volcano.
Oh, he's talking about my news reporting days when I had to cover Mount St. Helens blowing up. But you get
slightly
so excited.
Higher caliber.
Well, I made it, and you made it. And Dan, we really appreciate your sharing your time and your story with us. You can go back over there and join the rest of the audience there. Again, Dan McKown. All right, now let's find another category. All right, it's American poets. For 20 points. Her unusual use of rhyme and rhythm caused this belle of Amherst to be misunderstood during her lifetime. That was Emily Dickinson. For 10 points. This poet's 1865 book, Drum Taps, grew out of his experience as a nurse in a military hospital during the Civil War.
Mountain View.
Okay, Aaron.
Walt Whitman.
Walt Whitman is correct for 10 points. Very good. Again for 10 points. Longfellow wrote, "Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of this person."
LaSalle.
Okay, Tim.
Paul Revere.
Paul Revere is correct, yes, for 10 points. For 20 points. Home is the place where, when you have to go there, they have to take you in, wrote this beloved New England poet in 1914. That is Robert Frost. And for 40 points, the classic statement of the Beat Generation, "Howl," by this poet, caused